Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everyone's listening to the podcast, which is called
Trapped Under Plastic? Or?
Rebecca Black, everybody.
Yeah, but this podcast doesn't come out on a Friday.
I know, but it's Friday right now.
Oh, I just ruined your whole Google search on what are the lyrics to Friday.
Dude.
Friday.
I couldn't remember the lyrics. They're very complicated, okay? Rebecca spent a lot of time getting those lyrics like just perfectly. Like they're high IQ, okay?
Yeah. You wanna feel better about yourself, do a little Google search on what's happened to her life since that song.
Oh, did she?
Because I tell you what.
Is it bad?
That's the pinnacle of her lyric writing prowess.
Dude.
Is that song. Because she's
Okay.
come up with other doozies.
Okay, seriously?
Oh, yeah, and they are all horrible.
Okay. Shout out to Rebecca Black. That song is in the halls of YouTube fame.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to watch.
I'm sure she's listening, so she'll appreciate that.
Shout out to you, Rebecca.
That we're fans.
Welcome. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just
we were
stole
gonna
it.
do the same
we both
thing.
sucked in at the same time. All right, hold on. You start the word well, and I'll end it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready? Welcome to the podcast for the hobby. Miniature painting enthusiast?
Yeah, miniature hobby enthusiast.
I'm Scott. This is
John.
and we're here to assault your ear canals. John, lead us
We've
off.
already started.
Oh, yeah, we kind of screamed a little bit already.
Yeah.
What's on the Preamble Ramble?
I'm like eclipsed by this giant shadow of a box that's leering over me from behind.
What box?
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
there's a Dominion box on set. I was sent one early and didn't do anything with it because I'm not a good YouTuber.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Dominion box later on in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have probably already seen everybody and their sister do an opening up of the box.
Yeah, you know what's inside of it.
What's in the box?
I loved Goob's. Nice. Okay, I got the reference.
Okay.
I loved Goob's video on it where he was like, he talked about how he hated the unboxing videos and how he was like, he's like, the Packers did a good job. Everything is in there, confirmed. And then he closed the box. And then I was like, okay, we're done. But it was just like, it's just talking about how like ludicrous unboxings are. I don't know. I've never liked them. There's like do you remember like I don't know if it's the original channel, but one of the most popular channels for unboxing is called Unbox Therapy.
Oh, no. Because they do all sorts of weird stuff, true. Like, is it just board games? Or is it really miniature stuff?
Unbox Therapy?
Yeah.
Unbox Therapy doesn't do any stuff like about board games. It's more like cameras and iPhones and things like that.
yeah.
But like the guy made a massive YouTube career out of being like one of the largest and most prolific unboxers. And I've always thought that's just so weird. It's like you literally unbox a product. The only value I've found in an unboxing ever is when I have to like unbox a huge board game and then fit it all back into the box.
Ugh.
I watch an unboxing in reverse.
You just put it in reverse?
I'm not even kidding. Yeah, and then I
Everything's
figure out
in
how
there.
to put it together. I've done it for like Blood Rage and for the other 7 Deadly Sins. It
Dude,
works.
there is some truth to that of shit in a box to get it back in the box. It's like, there's
Shit in a
no
box.
way in a box.
Dick in a box.
Yeah. Yeah. I know how to get that back in. I don't know how to get all my minis back in. I don't understand it. How sweet of a job is that to be probably like a millionaire from opening up boxes?
Yeah, I mean, okay, we can make anything sound stupid. I'm sure the people out there that enjoy it. I don't like it. Do you like unboxing videos?
No.
No. Okay. Well, if you like them, let us know why in the comment section below. Maybe John will make one on his channel.
Yeah, I'll unbox.
Unbox the Minion.
Okay. There's no better content that's going to succeed than a Dominion unboxing 6 months after the game is out. But yeah, it was funny too, is because you was like, oh, I got the box. I'm like, oh, Nikes. It seemed early for GW. I'm like, wow, it's early for GW because as of recording this, they're not even gonna be up for pre-order until tomorrow, and then it's a 2-week pre-order for GW. So my thought was like, oh gosh, they're gonna have the NDA come up, like 1 week into the pre-order or something, so that'd give you like a week. And I'm like, oh man, when's the NDA come up? And you're like, Monday. This was on like a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It was like 3 days, I think. I had to do something, and I was in the middle of making a different video, so I just kind of.
What? Do they not understand how much work it takes?
We're talking about this an hour later.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll get on to this later because this is exactly what I was going to have us talk about later.
Well, why don't we just do it now? Let's just get out of the way.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
I mean, that's essentially what Goobs was saying in his video. He's like, if you want good videos to be made about your product that are like really hype, like give us 2 weeks minimum to make a video.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like me, I was in the middle. I'm not gonna stop making this video and then start doing that. Some people might, but it's hard for me to do because I have like this huge fucking mess here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to clean it up, make a different mess for the video that I do for this, and then remake the mess for finishing this. Like it's just like I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's all just assuming that we're just talking about base level amount of time to build a model or multiple models, paint them, record all the footage, write a script, edit all the footage, and get it out.
Yeah.
You know, that's
like
base
at least
level.
a week.
And that's base level. That's not me actually getting the product, going through it, absorbing it, figuring out a unique idea.
Yeah.
Like that's just baseline.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, I guess technically in 48 hours you could put out a video, but it's not really, I mean, it's not showcasing and actually being a good piece of marketing for your company.
Yeah, and not fully reviewing the product and giving like a full opinion on it, like that you would form from painting it and spending time with it, stuff like that.
You don't in 48 hours really even have enough time to read the rules and understand the rules, because that's one of the things is all the new rule changes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Vince just came out with a video this week where they spent 4 hours going through all the rules and the changes, and he's got like a 58 slide PowerPoint with a breakdown on what's changed, what matters, what's minor changes, what's insignificant, what's very significant. I mean, he can't even do that in 40. I mean, he's Vince, so I'm sure he could. But it's just so much to actually have such a minor blip on the radar for how many of those boxes that they sent out. Not that they sent one to me, not that I'm spicy dog, because I didn't get one, but...
Dude, I was the same way with Curse City. I was so fucking salty that I didn't get one, so I feel you.
Yeah, I didn't get a Curse City either. That's fine. That's fine.
I had a thought. Why haven't you made like a gaming video on your channel? Like top 5 reasons why Legions in the Gash, or whatever you want to call them, are good. And you can describe some of the strats and have some cool pictures of like, you know, your troops, or top 5 reasons why OCR Bone Reapers are cool, or why they're lame, or whatever. Why don't you make a gaming video?
Because no one's going to watch that.
No?
No. No one's going to watch it.
Why don't you think that?
Because anytime you segment yourself to a very specific topic that's related to a game, you immediately narrow down your audience to just the people that are already interested in that topic.
But there are lots of them that are interested in Age of Sigmar.
I'd get like 5,000 views in the first day on that video. Guaranteed. It would not do well.
It would do more than 5K.
Nope.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make it to test that theory.
Why not?
If I would do something on gaming, it would be more widespread.
I feel like now is the time to experiment with your channel. If there ever was a time, it's now.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Because you still got the pad of your job still.
Sure.
All the money you're making is extra.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think you should try it out.
But then I'm only like a half step away from lore videos in that point. And I can't do that.
No,
that's too close to lore.
You could lore videos, to be a lore video, it needs to include literally 2 JPEGs.
And just talk over them.
And when you shoot video, you're getting at least 30 JPEGs a second. So,
right.
So yeah, you win there already.
Oh, right.
I'm just kidding. I love you, lore channels.
That makes one of us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch them, but like I can appreciate what they do.
Yeah, I appreciate that they exist, and there are people that really like that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to sniff this Tamiya thinner right now rather than make a lore video.
All right.
Let's get on to the other Preamble Ramble topics.
None of this is Preamble Ramble.
Yeah, this was supposed to be newsy news.
This is Preamble Ramble.
Yeah, we're back to the season of the Preamble, Pre-Ramble, Preamble Ramble.
All right, me and John hung out.
Yeah, we
a little
did
hobby
a thing.
sesh.
Yeah, Amber's gone on a vacay.
Yeah, I put together a Razor Wing jet fighter. Well, not all of it, but some of it while I was there. I fucking love this thing.
It is super cool.
I don't know. Yeah, to me, this is... I was thinking about it, and I was like, is this the most Dark Eldar design ever?
Yeah.
I feel like this or the Reaver jet bikes are.
I feel like if someone there's like a home invasion in your house, like someone broke in and you're down here working and they like run down the stairs, you would just stab them with the wing right in the jugular.
Absolutely, yeah. I could gouge out several eyes.
That is the real true mark of a Dark Eldar piece.
How many eyes can you gouge out?
Yes. You just you put meat hooks connected to chains and you just stick it into their leg meat and stuff.
Dude, screw meat hooks. Just get these things attached to chains. Just like hang on that.
Just hang them up by your fucking scaffolding in here.
We got fucking cattle on Razor Wing jet fighters.
You just go back to assembling your models.
Yeah.
Hey, you did this to yourself, buddy.
What'd you do while we were hanging out, John?
Oh, God. Well, first I started assembling more of my Night Lords. And then we got talking about the miniature painting competition for Creature Caster and how mad I was that my pictures looked like garbage. And so for the next 3 hours after that, I spent trying to set up the ideal photo conditions.
Dude, it was so entertaining. I was just sitting there, just scraping mold lines. John's like taking clamps and pieces of wood and backdrops and just making something.
Yeah, and this was all built around my light. I wanted the lights like these over my painting area. And I'm like, I'm not moving my light. I'm going to make the rest of the environment work around this light.
Yeah.
And then after about 2.5 hours, we decided we're just going to move the light. If I would have done that in the very beginning,
It would have been like 30 minutes.
It would have been like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We ended up getting things dialed in about as close as I think is possible based on the environment, but mostly the camera restrictions. I think there's some issues with that around coloration that's probably just due to limitations of the camera.
Yeah, I think so. But they look really nice. And maybe, are you going to share those photos on social media as well? Might as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I probably
You seem
should.
apprehensive.
I probably should, just so then, like, if I, like, we'll put a little pressure on Creature Caster to make sure I place. Be like, hey, look,
right.
the whole world has seen this dragon now.
Yeah.
Now you better give me first place.
A little blackmailing going on.
Yeah. That's how I roll. That's how I do everything in life. Don't be the best. Don't try hard. Just blackmail.
Yeah.
I love a good BM.
All right. I didn't like that. Moving on. I mean, I like a good BM too.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. When we had cheeseburgers, we went out for cheese curds, fries, and cheeseburgers.
Some good cheese. Honestly, the best cheese curds I've ever had.
They're so good.
Are cheese curds not like a thing in other parts of America?
I think they are, but they're not as well known as like the Midwest.
Not as refined as in the Midwest too. Eh?
Yeah. Like now, here in the Midwest, you can get cheese curds most places. So there's like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like if you get chili in Texas, hierarchy.
Yes.
You get barbecue all across the South. There's a hierarchy, and then there's variations, and then there's a sub hierarchy within each variation by region.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, it's just cheese curds and hot dish. Okay?
Yeah. Like they get fucking barbecue. We get cheese curds.
Okay. For the record, if you were to put a gun to my head and say you can only have cheese curds or barbecue for the rest of your life, you have to pick one.
Do
you can
not
never the other.
Fucking say cheese curds.
I'd have a moment.
Okay.
Cheese curd, like deep fried cheese curds, are the top 3 favorite foods for me. Probably top 2. Like they're that ingrained.
Seriously?
In foods that I love.
Okay.
I love cheese. I could eat cheese curds every day.
No, you couldn't, because then you wouldn't poop ever again.
Well, that's a problem I encountered this morning.
Because of the cheese curds.
Because we had cheese curds on Wednesday, and
you
then
have poop
I did a little bit yesterday, and then I had cheese curd. The rest of them,
the leftovers,
the leftovers for lunch yesterday. So we need to have cheese curds for lunch. I want to see how
long can this go?
How can this go?
Yeah.
And what is going to happen when it ends?
Death.
I don't know. And I'm just going to eat like 10 bananas, and that is just going to be like create torpedo mode.
Yeah.
The bananas do some crazy things when eaten in mass quantities.
Yeah, BM Rocket, dude.
I used to, we have Quick Trip, is a gas station that's popular in Minnesota. Quick Trip, they sell produce, like the kinds of things you get at a grocery store that are kind of like the necessities for super cheap. So you can get onions, milk, potatoes, loaf of bread, bananas.
Yeah, it's like a grocery store light.
Yeah. And they have other stuff, but it's mostly the necessities. But their stuff is super cheap. So I had this thing one time about 15 years ago, where a buddy of mine, we both worked at the same place at the senior center, and we were talking one day, and you're like, guys, the bananas are so cheap at Quick Trip. I'm like, yeah, okay. Let's each buy a big bunch of bananas tomorrow morning on the way to work, and then we're going to eat them all by 8 a.m. So we each ate, I think it was 9 bananas.
I mean, like anything over 3 would be very impressive.
We ate 9 bananas in like an hour each.
And then,
you want to know what happens?
Yeah, dude.
Eat 9 bananas in an hour and you find out what happens.
What? You can't leave me hanging. What happened?
It's not pretty. The greatest thing is, okay, because he was the do-it-all guy. He was like from Scrubs, the janitor dude.
Yeah.
He was that guy, but he was young. He did everything. He fixed everything. He was, he put everything together, tore everything down, whatever. So he had to deal with the monstrosities that were left in those toilets, but he was half to blame for the problem.
Okay, half at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then he did not find it as funny as me when I told him that later on he's got to clean up my banana bazooka.
Okay, was it fast and loose? Did it keep coming? Was it one big one? Was it many small ones?
It was like okay, when the fire truck pulls up to the burning house and they crank into the fire hydrant, when they first turn that on, it's like that. And you weren't quite sure if the fire hose was off.
Ever.
For like 6 hours. It's not good.
It was a leaky fire hose.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fiber in bananas too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, anyway, it was, eat 9 bananas in an hour.
Report back.
Goody pee-pees.
Report back on the Facebook page.
Summoned you.
Yeah. On the top Facebook page. Really confuse people that are there and don't understand what TUP is. They're like, oh, a miniature painting group. Why am I seeing about people's gastrointestinal experiments with bananas?
Right. Why are we always showing pictures of chicken tendies?
Yeah, and now shits. Banana shits.
Jeez.
All right.
Reminds me of a website I used to.
Oh, God. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. All right. The next item is, aren't smoked meats just the best?
This is a great transition.
It
right?
is, because we're talking about barbecue.
We did. So for my birthday, my wife and parents went together and got me a Traeger smoker / grill. And so I have been smoking la meats.
La meats.
La meats. Yesterday, I had 2 pork shoulders for my daughter's birthday party. That's tomorrow. It's a little family get together. So I decided to buy, 30 pounds in pork shoulder. And I smoked those for 11 hours yesterday.
Damn.
And then I've got 3 more hours in the morning tomorrow. And then they rest for 45. And then I am going to have the best pulled pork that I've ever made.
2 smoking sessions?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the recipe that I followed wanted me to smoke them for 4 to 5 hours at 250 degrees. Mm-hmm. But I'm a manly man.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
you
so
are.
I cranked it down to 160.
Yes, you
and
did.
did them for 10 to 11 hours.
Okay.
And then after you do that, you wrap them in foil. You rehydrate them with the apple juice, tighten them with foil, and then you go back on the smoker at 250 for 3 to 4 hours until they hit internal temperature.
Okay.
And so that second wave of smoking is just going to be morning of.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys don't need to know all the details, but
Was this miniature painting related at any point?
Yes, because smoking is the greatest secondary hobby as your miniature painter, because you can just throw stuff on for the din-din and you can go back to hobbying.
Nice.
And it's like 4 hours later, boom, honey, ribs are done.
Well, you can only do that if you have a fancy Traeger.
Well,
if you're a basic bitch like me, then you have to go and check the temp of your Weber grill every 20 minutes.
Yeah, pellet smoker, any kind of pellet smoker.
Right.
There are different kinds that use pellets, not just a Traeger. It's like Traeger's like Kleenex now. It's like where you hear that like they're brilliant in their marketing. It's like, oh, I hear Traeger, that means pellet smoker. And it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a goddamn facial tissue. Okay? Get it? There's a difference.
Okay. All right, last item on the preamble. The itch for competition painting has started. Ben Cantor has infiltrated our Facebook Messenger group with Vincy V and Sam and John and myself, and they're talking a lot.
It started with the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah,
because we were talking about competition miniature painting.
It did.
And Ben he's listening to this at 2.0 speed right now, so I'm going to talk really fast. When I was super fast, and he can't understand what I'm saying because I'm talking faster than Ben. Ben, suck my D, Ben. Okay.
Oh my God.
So, so when he was on the podcast, I started feeling like, oh yeah, we're talking about this. My brain's thinking about ideas. We're talking about, Golden Demon. I'm envisioning the case at Golden Demon. I'm envisioning a yet to be determined piece of mine in the case. I'm feeling good. And then we start the conversation on the old Insta Facebook chatty matty, and we start getting into it. And I'm hyped.
There's
Are you
a lot.
hyped? Are you hyped?
I was not able to read the entire conversation. Whenever I looked, there was like 56 notifications, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to edit a video.
Yeah.
So I hadn't read it all. I would say I am equally as hyped as I was before because I don't know. It's like I'm jaded. I can't see the destination because the road to get there is so far. It's so far away, and it's just like all I can see is the road. You know, so that kills the hype immediately.
The Road is also a good movie.
It is.
Viggo Mortensen.
It's very, very fucking bleak. There's no happiness in that movie at all.
It's one of those movies that I enjoyed the movie so much, and I enjoy the setting so much that I read the book that it's based on afterwards.
Oh.
And it's really it's a good book. The movie did a great job of like funneling down the essence and the key parts and everything of the book. But it's like the book is fucking depressing as hell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that checks out then.
Okay. Well, that's what we were talking about.
Hold on.
The Road.
Yeah.
Let's talk about The Road.
No, we're not gonna talk about the road. But do you ever get sad when you watch a movie and it's like super amazing and you're like, oh, this is amazing, and then you figure out it's based on a book? Does that ever make you sad?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all because typically a good book is better than a movie. So.
Well, yeah. So I'm not saying that books can't be good, but what I'm saying is, I wish that whoever made this movie had come up with the idea themselves.
Oh yeah.
So like
that's like best original screenplay versus best.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the one time that happened, not the one time, but the two times was with David Fincher, with Seven, and Fight Club. I was like, fuck, those are both based on books. It's like, dang, that was sad. I mean, it's not that sad, but.
Yeah. Because. Or you got to think about it here. It's like, okay, we can only make a couple super AAA movies a year as a studio. You know, we can't put all our eggs in the hope this was written well and turns out well basket. Instead, we can draw on the thousands of greatly reviewed novels.
Yeah.
And say this is a really compelling, awesome story. We could see it on the screen working. So it's like, you know,
it's like the big reason why Harry Potter can make sequels and they don't suck because the books are really fucking good. I feel like I don't know of another movie that has as many sequels as Harry Potter where they're all like, these are all really solid movies
because it's all based on a storyline that is a full arc.
Yeah.
The opposite of that example would be Star Wars.
Some good, some not so good.
Right. But they're not. There are Star Wars books. There have been Star Wars books for 40 years.
Yeah.
But they don't base the movies on the books as far as I know. Or, I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they're a compilation or whatever.
At some point, they said that all of the comic books and stuff like that were not canon. Like, this was like 2 years ago, and that kind of made people upset. But competition painting and having the itch for it.
Hey, that's why it's Ramble, baby. Ramble
we're really doing bad right now.
Or great, depending on your reason for listening.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you got the itch. You're coming up with ideas. We took Ben's comments to heart when thinking about the right type of choice for what to paint for GD.
I'm pretty hyped about my one idea that I showed you on Wednesday, or the model.
Yeah.
I think that's because I went through the eyes of Ben Cantor, which are really weird to look through, and looked at Games Workshop website for just models under the lens of that checklist.
Ben Cantor goggles.
Yeah, Ben Cantor gogs.
Yeah.
Which are different than sexy gogs.
Different,
but also
sexy.
Similar.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so that is end of the Preamble Ramble. We're getting hyped for Golden Demon 2022. And next, we talk about a thing that isn't this thing.
Nice transition.
Yes.
We talk about what we painted.
Hey, Scotty, there's some stuff on this table that you painted recently.
Oh, yeah. I did terrain. That's done. Video came out today as of recording. Probably later when you're listening to this. By probably, I mean definitely. So I'm really happy with that. The one thing I didn't think about was when I glue this building to the other building, the weight of this right one is going to sag. And I thought I could solve it by putting weight on the inside of that one.
Okay.
But it doesn't. So can you see how this one...
What's going to sag?
Look how this side... So there's two buildings. One's glued to the other one such that it's hovering in the air.
Why did you make them hover? Why did you make this one hover in the air?
So the reason was I wanted to give the impression that the building was floating, and I made like a floating step to get up into the office. But I don't think I put it up high enough to really sell that idea.
Yep. I would have made this like 1.5 times taller, or even twice as tall.
Okay, fuck off.
And then have that up there. I mean, I'm just saying.
It took 3 weeks to paint.
I didn't know.
I would just double it in size.
No, you just take the same shape. You just make it taller.
Yeah, but then I got more stuff to paint, more things to put greaves on, more rivets to put down.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
I would just double it in size. Fuck you. So that's done. I think the thing I was most hyped about was the window. I think the window was an idea that I had no idea if it would work, and it did. And I'm really happy about that and using that in the future.
Like the shatterproof glass window?
Yeah. Or just not even the design, but just the window itself. Like the fact that it works so well and it's nice and glossy. I like the doors too on the office and the garage door.
Yeah,
I had fun.
They're good.
I had fun and I didn't have fun.
I mean, you're doing a project that's this intensive. It's so many steps, most of which you've never done before. Yeah. There's going to be points where you're going to have a level of frustration or uncertainty or this. I get this like anxiety when this is tied to a video where it's like I'm not moving fast enough, or this is not happening in a time where I feel like I need to be doing it in.
Yeah. There's like no timeline.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like okay, I need to finish this stage by this day, but I have no idea if I can actually do that because I've never done this before.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get into certain steps where simply like you need to sit things down and you can't keep working on them either. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's like, well, I'm to a point where I have to commit to like 3 hours straight of getting all this printed and making sure everything is right and whatever. And it's like, I don't have 3 straight hours tonight. So, you know, another day goes by or whatever, stuff like that. Like it's rough. I just noticed now these garage doors, they look like they open like at an angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I don't know where they go.
That's not a question we need to answer.
They fold around the
Space World.
I know, dude. Space World.
Space World doesn't matter where shit goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you did that, and I see something else over there.
And I painted more of the Witch Hunter from Cursed City, which is a box that shall not be named. You can't get it. We built Cursed City. We built Cursed City on sand and other things that aren't very stable. He's mostly done. I need to paint like the things that are black need some highlighting, which is like the scabbard on the big sword, the scabbard on the dagger in the front, the
daggered,
the loop of his gun is like his strap. But otherwise, he's pretty much done.
You said you did something new. Are you going to talk about in our segment in the after party about something new you've tried?
Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't filling that gap on the cloak. That's what you didn't do.
Ooh. Yeah, that one definitely snuck by me. So yeah, he's mostly done. Went for blue leather on him, red leather for the straps and gloves, and then like a greenish gold. I don't know. Of the 3 that I've painted so far, he's my least favorite.
Like final product or process to paint him?
Both.
He's got a lot of little shitters all over.
Yeah, he's got a lot of shit going on.
He's got buckles. This is like fucking Buckle McBuckleson.
It's like a Guild Ball model, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Dude, hey, I hear you like buckles and straps. We got a game for you. Should add him to a Guild Ball team. You have honorary member of the Dead Game Guild.
Dead Game Guild. Savage.
My favorite thing about this model in general, is the freaking sword on his back. He's just like nonchalantly carrying this big old claymore.
I know, it's so big.
It's so cool. I just love the angular nature of it and the cross hilt. It's just very cool. It's not like ornamental, overly GW bullshit on weapons that they usually do.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just a regular dude from a regular town with a big ass sword
and an underslung steak launcher. I'm like, God.
I mean,
that's pretty cool too.
Jumping the shark right there. Hey, you know, I think he looks good.
Thank you. The face is utter shit, but it is not literally. It is very fucking difficult to paint.
How do you?
I don't know.
I don't even remember if this dude's head is separate. I don't even know if like.
I can't remember either.
I don't think it is. Because if you just be like, have it off and just like boop it in, you do that first.
Yeah. I mean, there probably is better ways to assemble it and paint it if you really cared about the outcome.
I like the almost slight greenish tint to the wood on the grain of the rifle.
Yes. So I started with the green on the wood, and then it looked awkward, and I was like, I need to include other green elements to make it feel less awkward. That's why I used the green gold. The Vallejo Metal Color gold is green naturally, and I really like that. I really like green gold. So that works for me, but it doesn't work if you wanted a normal gold. No. There's no normal gold in that range, isn't there?
That is the gold.
Yeah, that's so strange.
And it's a very green, yellowish green.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the after party, I'll talk about how I turned Iron Breaker, is that the GW silver paint?
I think so.
Into gold. Because I had to do it for my video because there was only one metallic paint in the box, and it was Iron Breaker, so I had to use it for everything, and I turned it into a bronze and a gold.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, what'd you paint?
What did I paint? I painted two things since the last episode. First thing I painted was Lord of Virulence. Virulence? How do you say that word?
Virulence?
Virulence?
VIRUL?
Yeah.
Viral.
Viral? I think it's virulence.
Virulence?
This is high quality podcast commentary.
Yeah, someone is like just losing their mind right now.
I know. It's an obvious way to say it. From Creature Caster, I painted him in a recent video on airbrushing basics. And I showed like the really foundational 90% of what I use an airbrush for in a couple of basic steps. And I painted him because he's a nice size model, but he's not massive. And showed the combination of how airbrushing and brushwork can work together to create something better than maybe on their own they wouldn't have been able to do. So I enjoyed him. I did a lot of different... I didn't paint him how I would probably have typically painted him if it wasn't a video focused on airbrushing. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on there, but I had a lot of fun with that. And it's a super cool model. He's one of my favorite sculpts from Creature Caster is that model because I love grody stuff. And he is fucking King Grode McGroderson.
A lot of grode going on.
Yeah, what a great word.
Grode.
Yeah, grody. Dude, grody is such a good word.
Yeah.
Go to peepees. You need to. Your word of the day is grody. When you're at work, you need to find a way, to integrate the word grody in one time. The higher level of management or boss is present when you say the word grode. You get extra bonus points.
Extra John bucks.
Yeah, extra John bucks. If you kick down the door to the CEO's office and be like, "This place is grody," and then just leave, dude, that's like infinite John bucks right there. But only if you get fired. You're like, I don't need this job. I got John bucks.
And with infinite John bucks, you can cash them out for hanging out with John if you've ever been in Rochester.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, hey, I want to use my John bucks.
Don't say that.
Yeah, no. It's
too late.
If you're getting people fired from their jobs, the least you can do.
Hey, I gotta sleep on your couch, Jocks. I said grody in front of my boss.
I got the John bucks for it.
I got the John bucks.
Pay rent and John bucks, dude.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's accepted by most landlords. Asterisk. It is not accepted by most landlords.
Asterisk. The only landlord it's accepted by is John, and even he doesn't accept them.
John isn't an actual landlord. So I painted Lord of Virulence, and then for my video that will be out by the time you watch this, but it is not out as we speak, is I painted, I wrote down his name.
Hold on, don't look. You can't remember it? Don't look.
Gets Stampa is his last name.
Yes.
It's a 40K orc that you could only get by pre-ordering it through Games Workshop like last year.
And you got that?
Midst of the pandemic. And he's a new sculpt, a 40K orc. I was like, I love the look of the new orcs. The old ones are so static and kind of derpy. Mm-hmm. And now they've announced that, they've showed a couple of the new kind of orcs that are coming out for 40K, which look badass. So I ordered him, and he came, I'm not kidding you, from when I ordered him, it's 5 months later he showed up at my door.
Whoa.
Yeah, Games Workshop on top of it. But again, this was in the middle of the pandemic.
Gorzag
Get Stampa. He comes with a little Git in there too, but I ain't got time for painting two models. He's carrying a little Santa's toy bag or whatever the little dude is.
Okay.
I'll use him for something else later. But I painted him just using a starter paint and build set from Games Workshop. Only the paints that are in there. It comes with 10 paints, but One of them is a technical paint for painting the sand on the base. One of them is Agrax Earthshade, and one of them is the metal, the Iron Breaker or whatever. So you have 7 paints to paint a whole model. And that was tough to not... it was a struggle to try to have some interest in the model when you have to mix everything. Mm-hmm. So I actually haven't written the script for this video yet, so if it doesn't actually turn out like what I'm about to describe, that's my fault. Is that I want to... I mean, the catch is like painting with not having a lot of paints, painting with just a starter set or whatever, and I want that to be the thing. But I always try to do like here's the hidden reason why you're going to get value in this video, and it's not necessarily described in the title or the thumbnail. Is it's going to be a video about basic paint mixing your own paints,
sure.
And what to look for what you're looking to achieve. And even if you don't know what you want to achieve, here are some kind of basic guidelines to get you started, to get a little confidence. So I like how he turned out. I actually spent more. I painted him in one day. My goal was to paint him in like 4 to 5 hours. I ended up spending like 8 hours on him because I enjoyed it so much.
Wow.
I had a lot of fun painting that model. And this was in the midst of us getting the freaking Golden Demon talk coming. And it was a single model. It was a Games Workshop model. I was just like, all right, I'm not going full ball sack here. It was like 50% ball sack. But it was like, here's the kind of things, I'm going to paint this like I would paint for competition and just stop at 50% at every phase.
Okay.
And that was fun.
So don't call it a color theory video, but kind of a color theory video?
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff in there about color theory, but basically how do paints mix and what makes a good mixable paint work and where are you going to come into troubles. And Games Workshop paints are really notorious for this in that they're already a wide variety of pigments are already in that pot. Okay. So you're already diluted on true pigments for what mixing will actually turn out what you want it to turn out like. Games Workshop and a lot of paints. If the wider the range is, the more likely this is going to happen to you, is that the more you mix it, the more it turns towards some shade of gray.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to keep vibrancy as mixing. And that's why they do that on purpose. So they make paints that you have to go in the 3-step stage, because if you tried to mix to that, for most of us, unless you've been doing quite a bit of this, it just doesn't feel like it turns out as good.
Okay. So this is like the practical guide to color mixing and color theory and things like that.
It's not going to be called that. It's going to be called something way more clickbaity. But
for the layman.
Yeah.
Color theory for the idiots.
Hey, I hear you're dumb.
That'll get them.
People like a little bit of being called out in video titles, though.
By like, you mean they click on it?
Yes.
I don't know if they like it.
I mean, they don't like it.
Because that's usually when you get the most salty comments.
And then they click on it.
Yeah.
But they still watch it.
Like I call people a dingus for not understanding color theory, like a total joke. And people they were not happy with me. They did not want to be called a dingus. So.
Quick brainstorm workshop here.
Yep.
One word. What word would you rather have, not knowing the rest of the context, in your video title? Crappy or dumpy?
Dumpy, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, because I had narrowed it down to those 2 words that are going to be in the title of this video.
Okay.
Unless you can think of at a later date, maybe over lunch today, of a word that's similar to dumpy, but
poopy. Dude. Dumpy just sounds funnier, but it doesn't translate as well as crappy might translate to a larger audience.
Yeah. Right. That's where I was at. That was where I was stuck on. I had a foot in each canoe, Scott, right? We're going down the river. At some point, they're going to start drifting apart.
Some point, you're going to turn it Van Damme.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, you got to pick a canoe. No, I don't. I'm Van Damme. These are my semis.
Just have both titles. Just do like the first title, then put the bar character, then do the second.
Yeah, my title is 77 characters long.
And then every hour, just edit the video and swap the order. Just try that out.
It's just right after I'm misting my brisket that I'm smoking with apple cider vinegar. Yeah, every hour I missed it, and then I changed the title. Missed it, changed the title.
There you go.
No one will ever find this. Wow, we're quite a ways in, and we've talked about nothing.
We're close to 40 minutes and we haven't got to the topic discussion. This is a problem. I was like, we're going to go fast today because I need to go to the source to buy something before we do things. That shit, I use that and you just put that in your nose.
Well, I didn't use it before you used it.
Icky. Grody.
Grody. Hey, Scott gets some John Bucks.
Yeah. All right. Our topic discussion for today.
Extra John Bucks if you can say the word grody to a staff member at the source later.
That's easy, dude.
I mean, it's gotta work into the conversation.
Okay.
You can't just like walk by someone and go, grody, and walk away.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Okay, moving.
Because we need to.
Topic is
FOMO.
What is FOMO? Can you spell out what FOMO is, Scott?
FOMO.
God damn it. I didn't mean literally. I mean, what does it stand for?
Fear of missing out. It's an acronym. This topic was submitted by Abel.
Abel.
Thank you, Abel.
Not Cain.
No, not Cain. Cain's dead.
That's why he didn't submit it.
Abel killed him. No, actually,
They both had the idea.
Yeah.
They were like rushing to the old-timey computer. It's like, I want to submit it.
Yes. Words. If you want to submit topics to our podcast, you can do that by being a patron at the $5 tier. That is one of the 17 million rewards we have at that $5 tier. I'm just kidding. It's more like 5. But yeah, you can submit topics for us to discuss.
Yeah. So, Abel, thank you for submitting this about FOMO in our hobby. And FOMO is something it's like a cultural phenomenon, I guess. In the last 20 years especially, probably the graph is trending upward in the last 10.
Yeah.
It's about, it kind of originates even more than products. It's about, at a basic level, FOMO is my buddies are all going out to the bar. I got to get up for work early tomorrow, but I feel like I'm going to miss out on an awesome night.
Yeah.
Or stories and adventures and all this kind of things. That's a level of FOMO.
Yes.
FOMO can also be related to, like, oh, this band is in town and I don't know when Metallica is going to be back or if they'll ever be back. FOMO, I'm not going to make the concert. I got to go. I can't afford the tickets, but I'm going to be missing out.
Okay.
And then to products themselves, right? So FOMO is not just about our hobby, but we're going to talk about how does FOMO show itself in our hobby in a variety of ways? What's the good and bad of this? And is there anything we can take away from FOMO to make us maybe better hobbyists or maybe better consumers or maybe better people?
Yeah. Just more secure individuals.
Right. So, Scott, let's first go over some examples of FOMO. We'll go through a couple because I have written down that there's probably like 4 or 5 that I can think of, and these were mostly in the text I sent you last night, and I forgot what they were, so I'm going to have to reference that text shortly. So we're going to, do you want to start us off? You want me to start us off?
Sure, yeah.
Here's an example of how FOMO is in our hobby, and what does that mean? Why is it that way? Why?
Sure, yeah. I can remember when Scale 75 paint first came out, there was definite FOMO around acquiring that paint range and using it on models because at the time there wasn't really a paint range that produced results that were as matte as Scale 75 could get. That wasn't even like a thing people thought they'd want, right? It was like everything's kind of like this middle satiny area. And so everyone was trying to get their hands on this thing, and like there wasn't any like US distributors for it, so you had to buy it through the Spain website, and it was like out of stock and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, everyone's on this new hotness for like having a matte finish. So everyone wanted to buy that paint range.
So at its core, and correct me if I'm wrong in my interpretation of this, at its core, what this means is it's a product that you feel like you're missing out in your capability of creating awesome minis if you don't get it.
Yeah, it's like without this, I cannot do what these people are doing. And to a certain degree, that's true.
Yeah, I could see that in, I think Chimera is a more recent example than Scale 75, but in a very similar vein. Mm-hmm. Very limited quantities, very rare that you can find places to get it at, mostly through the actual manufacturer. And it claims to do a thing that cannot be achieved in your miniature paint jobs without it. And I don't want to say claims because I'm not saying this from a perspective of, we'll talk about manufacturers abusing FOMO shortly. In this situation, I don't necessarily think, I don't think that Scale 75 or Chimera are fueling the FOMO fire.
God, no. Yeah, they aren't.
No, and that's all within our hobby. It's all from hearing from other painters and reading it on other sources or seeing pictures on Instagram and painted with Scale 75. I was like, oh my God, that looks super awesome. And he painted it with this paint. I got to get that paint.
Yes.
You see that with brushes. You see that with wet palettes, with reusable membranes.
Don't even get me started.
We see it with the 7,000 different hobby holders on the market. I haven't been painting for that long. Like 4 or 5 years now, something like that. When I started painting, there was no such thing as a hobby holder.
Yeah, you just held the base in the model.
Yeah, you held it by the base, or you do what I still do today, and you cut a dowel and you use a dowel.
Yeah.
Like there was no product for that. And now I'm just looking around. It's like everyone's got all these different kinds of hobby holders. Like, you need that? Like, this allows you to get the angle that you could never get before.
Yes.
And so
People got paint shakers now.
So much pivoting. Yeah. The vortex mixer,
That's
the
what it's
paint
called.
shaker, the $90 clippers, the
The God hands. Yeah.
the god hands.
Yeah. A lot of products can instill the FOMO feeling in us just because we feel like we are less capable without them.
Yes. And this is directly tied to one of Scotty's favorite trademarked phrases, which is gear acquisition syndrome.
It's definitely not trademarked.
Well, you should.
Okay.
You
It's a thing in other hobbies.
Well, you can make a nickel every time someone says it.
But I didn't make it up.
And I don't care. It doesn't matter who made it up. It matters who markets it and trademarks it. That's how this works.
On it.
Look at Walt Disney. Okay. Let's dig into that just a little bit for FOMO. Like, okay, if I'm feeling a FOMO a lot, because I am very guilty of this. I think if I see a thing that gets me excited, that I feel like I have to have it. Is there any, like, is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Is it something that you need to understand what and act accordingly? Like, what's my takeaway for buying all the shit, Scott?
Oh, is this therapy time with Scott?
Yeah, Scott. Talk to me.
I think FOMO, at its core, comes from a place of insecurity.
Oh, shit. I'm insecure. God damn it.
Nah, that's not meant as an insult in the slightest, because everyone experiences FOMO to a certain degree.
I am not insecure. I am way more secure than you, Scott. I am the least insecure person. I'm the most humblest.
But that's my theory, at least. It's like I am missing out on something that I am unable to get, and I'm feeling bad about it. It's like, whereas I think maybe someone who is more secure would be like, well, I don't have time to do that thing right now. I prioritize something else, and so I'm going to do that other thing.
Yeah. So if I'm Ben Comets, and
just hypothetically,
just hypothetically, just let me have this. So I'm Ben Comets, and there's this awesome new paint range that comes out. We'll call it
the Ben Comets paint range.
Contrast. Okay, so Contrast comes out, and I am even like flown to Garm's workshop.
This is no longer hypothetical.
To try out the Contrast. And I'm like, wow, this is nice. This is cool. Okay, I like this. This is interesting. It's a learning experience. But because I'm Ben and I am awesome at all things painting, I don't feel that I need it to solve a problem that I didn't know I had. I can analyze it and I can appreciate for things that it may offer me, but I don't feel obliged. I feel comfortable in what I can achieve, and it's more about experimenting. Why did I emphasize it in a way?
It sounded fancy, though.
I am experimenting with the Contrast, not expecting it to solve a problem, because I'm confident and I'm comfortable with how I paint and in my ability to innovate and improve over time.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I'm Ben Comets.
Typically, you have a hypothetical scenario.
Yeah.
So that like it creates a situation that wouldn't exist in real world, but you just used pseudonyms and made a situation that existed in real world.
Yes.
But it's to ask a question.
Yeah.
What are we exploring here with this?
What we're exploring is how somebody who is comfortable and confident in their abilities,
yes,
how they act instead of acting in a way of a FOMO knee-jerk reaction.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
also, we're trying to feel what it feels like to be Ben Comets.
Yeah, that's mostly what this was about.
Okay.
So I don't know how he would react in this real situation. He's never tried Contrast, so who knows?
Never tried.
Because that's not a real product.
Oh, right. You got me there.
Duh.
Duh.
But how I imagine somebody who is confident in their abilities and comfortable in learning with the tools that they have, how they would react to FOMO, or to maybe die down the flames a little bit if you're feeling it when it's maybe not healthy.
I feel like Ben, who is someone that's been around the block and seen products come and go many times, is probably, his reaction is probably like softened. The hard edges have been worn off over time. Right. It's like, okay, it's another thing.
Yes.
Whatever. So I think that happens over time.
Benny from the block has seen all the things.
He's seen it all.
He's walked a million miles, and he would walk 1,000 more.
Yeah.
Just to stand next to you.
Okay, shitty 90s music notwithstanding. What are some other examples of hobby FOMO?
Okay.
Wait, was that 90s song? Did I get that wrong? No, it's not. It's 80s.
It's 80s.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It is not shitty. Because you just offended all of our Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand listeners.
Okay, like it's a song that plays on the radio a lot, but like I wouldn't choose to listen to that song ever.
Okay, another example of FOMO would be Kickstarter. Yeah. Kickstarter is at its core, what makes Kickstarter like run, why it is a multi-million dollar company is all based on FOMO. If I can't get all the extra add-ons, if I don't know if and when this will ever be released without this, if I can not get it sooner than everybody else and get better, if I get all these minis, because I'm going to get 70,000 minis.
What I'm shocked about is I felt like the Kickstarter would eventually lose steam because it's been around for so long. And it's like, okay, I know for myself personally, like I get like, the word isn't whiplash, but the word is more like, I don't know. I just get like, it's predictable. The same thing keeps happening over and over again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why hasn't that happened with the world yet?
Right.
And I'm reminded of something that I learned as a young shoe salesman.
Oh God. Tell me, Al Bundy.
At the prime age of 16, I was like, okay, I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is not like a big place.
It is a place.
There are many places to buy shoes in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Many places.
People don't buy shoes very often.
Do they?
They don't. You buy like a pair a year,
Sure, yeah.
Like maybe more.
I don't know. Some people really like shoes, but the average person.
Yeah, a pair. So how is Rogan Shoes in business in Kenosha, Wisconsin, when there are also other shoe places? And the answer to that question, and the answer to the question of how is Kickstarter still doing this, is there's a lot of fucking people in the world.
There's a lot of people.
And
there's a lot of feet.
We don't run out very fast. Yeah, so there's just enough people to facilitate this continued growth, the continued selling of bad games, board games.
Bad games.
I meant to say board games. I said bad games. So that's what it is. It's like there's just so many people with so many dollars.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at the data, and I'm too lazy to do so to know if like there's
it's kind of a thing we do, right?
There's like a pinnacle of
It's like here's some conjecture.
It's hobby related things that it hits like a peak where it's like, okay, the bar has kept going up and up and up of how popular they are, how many units they sell, how many there are. Eventually, I thought it would plateau. I think it probably is pretty close to plateauing from that regard, because at a certain point, the people that are really interested, I mean, games and minis are a great example of this. Like artistic minis, when I look at like Cult of Paints minis and stuff, like I think they're more the exception, because you're getting a couple minis, the quality is high or whatever. It's not a board game with 150 minis in it, because I have done that, and most of us are like, okay, I've done that once or twice. Now I realize I'm never going to paint all these. This is just ridiculous. And you kind of, the FOMO gets balanced out with the realism within your brain. And then there's exceptions with the game just seems really, really awesome. I want to get it for the game. It's also minis, whatever. And there's other products, hobby-related products. But truthfully, Kickstarter, there's a lot of good things that Kickstarter offers, like that sweet little automated hand drill that I'm going to be getting in the mail here in the next couple of weeks. That's like that product doesn't exist. It probably is not going to be able to be manufactured unless through a realm like Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But a majority of things, that's not the way it goes right now. They're using it as a marketing platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess what I love Kickstarter. I wasn't trying to hate on it at all. And I think the thing that Kickstarter should be used for is things like that mini drill, right?
Yeah.
That could be made otherwise. So I guess my surprise as to how this is still happening is, how like content like gets kind of old on YouTube. It's like, okay, we've seen this same format of video 1,000 times. Eventually, people are going to innovate on that format. Mm-hmm. I thought people would innovate on what miniature painting products look like on Kickstarter. Sure. But it kind of just seems to be the same thing over and over again. It's a game with a bunch of minis, or it's a small Kickstarter with 5 display minis. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some like extra chaff around the outside, but it's mostly just that over and over again. So I thought that would have gotten old by now, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is gotten more innovative the larger you increase your sphere of what you're looking at, of what's being created out there. But it also is fairly restrictive as a platform in general. Here's what the platform does for you, right? So if you would benefit with your idea from this type of format, then it's good for that, or potentially good for that. I'm seeing some actual, where I'm seeing the kickback, what you're talking about, is in the 3D printing sphere.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so diluted right now. And people remember when it was all about Kickstarters for 3D printing files and all that kind of stuff? Now where have they gone?
Patreon. Yeah.
Yep. So I think that there will be continue to be some evolution. Okay. You got another one, Scott? Do you have another FOMO example?
Yeah, for sure. One that is fairly recent to both of us is having something to put in a case at a painting competition.
That's a good one.
It's like everyone, when you're there and you just meet someone who is also a miniature painter, typically the first thing you talk about is like, what do you have in the case? Yeah. Like, what did you bring this year? Like, how was the painting process? Like, what are your prospects? And so like thinking about that and not having one just feels like, I'm not even gonna be able to participate in these conversations, or if I do, I'm gonna look like an idiot because like I am not speaking from any kind of experience. So yeah, that is a point of FOMO for me, or even just going to conventions. So I can't go to Gen Con and Nova and Reaper and all these things. Like I just get to go to the one, which is fine. But yeah, there's some FOMO there too. So even going to the con, but also participating in the events at the con. Yeah,
that's a good example. I think that ties back to like our going to the concert example too. Yeah. From the normie perspective, is let's say. I take this example of not having something in the case but still being there, kind of like there's a bar across the street from the venue. When the venue gets out, you like go to the bar. Yeah. And everyone's talking about the concert.
Yeah.
And you weren't at the concert.
Yeah.
You just went to the bar afterwards.
Right.
I felt this the last year of Crystal Brush, and I didn't know it was the last year. But last year of Crystal Brush, I didn't have anything in the case for Crystal Brush. I put all my ball sacks into my Creature Caster piece.
Of which there are many.
Of which there are many sacks. And I went all out for that. I also have terrible time management, not knowing how long things would take. I had planned
terrible time management.
It's really hard with painting competitions. Like you put as much time as you have in a thing. Like there is absolute truth to the fact that a miniature piece is never done unless you say it's done. Yeah. And when it's with competition, you're just like, I'm bad. I'm just like, well, I'm just going to keep working as long as I have time to work on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to make it as best as I can.
Yeah, which I'm probably never going to be a guy that's got like 6 pieces in 6 different categories. I'm just not going to.
I mean, I think those kinds of people just paint that stuff for fun and then have them available when a competition arises.
Yeah, and they're better.
Sometimes, yeah.
But people asked me that, and I was like, "Oh, who do you have over there?" I'm like, "I don't have any. I got one over there. I don't have anyone in there." That felt bad.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even remember that you didn't have anything in there.
Thanks, God.
Well, I mean, why I'm saying that is because I wasn't trying to bring up a memory that was negative for you.
It's too late.
I mean, you had a piece that could have been in the case and fit in just fine. So
I should have entered it in both and been like every 6 hours. I'm gonna squirt my my brisket, and then I'm going to what was the second thing I do every hour? So you change the title of my video, and then I'm gonna move my mini from this case to this case. Yeah. So they have to judge it for both.
Right.
I want to do that. Then I've been okay. So yeah, that's true. Like it's like for events, this is kind of related around events in our hobby. Like I can't go to the first Gen Con when everything opens back up and all that kind of stuff. There's a FOMO there. I would say what you can do to temper that is say, is this a priority? Is this something that I would feel like would be really valuable? I really want to experience this. And then be an adult and work it into your finances and work it into your work schedule, work it into if you can get time off of work or whatever and plan it ahead. And so you feel like I'm committing to this. I'm going to enjoy it and get the most out of it. And then if I look back in retrospective and say, well, Gen Con was cool, but I think next year I want to try Adepticon instead or whatever like that, Don't feel like you have to if it just doesn't work, with what you're going to enjoy, or instead of just missing out.
Okay.
I've got another one here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And it's related to this big old red and blue box behind us. And that is the new hotness. Specifically, we're going to talk about models. And this has been a hot topic from our buddy Germ's Workship lately.
He make the very popular contrast drawing.
Yes. Yeah, they are popular for their contrast bits. And I don't know how much of this is them leaning on the problems of creation and distribution or whatever from COVID, and how much of them realizing how well it affects their bottom line. But pre-ordering things, getting things in limited quantity, getting things like Curse City, if you don't get it, you'll never get it. Manufactured shortage of product. And I don't know if I want Dominion or not, but everybody is like, you got to get Dominion. Oh my God, it's coming out. Who knows? Or how many can a store get? Do we know? Oh, a store shortage. You can only pre-order so many. Whatever. You got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it, or you're never going to get it, or you're just going to suck at life if you don't get it. So you better get it. Meanwhile, most of those models, I think, are derpy as fuck. So I'm going to get it. I'm open it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So this is supposed to be like Indominus. It's not the starter set. It's limited edition.
I don't know. I don't know.
My second question is, do you think that GW is influenced by Kingdom Death?
I was going to talk about Kingdom Death as a separate line of FOMO.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily say that they are influenced, and I don't think anyone in that organization would ever be so peasantly to admit to learning things from another company. But I think that there is examples in the retail space outside of the hobby where this is done, and it's done so well for the company.
Yeah. Okay. I agree there, but I can't really think of a time more than 3-4 years ago that this was a thing with GW products, manufactured limited edition. Mm-hmm. It might have done it, but it wasn't like an advertised thing. But Kingdom Death is the earliest I can remember where I was like, okay, this is a boutique brand that thrives on having limited edition stuff. It's like really high quality.
Yeah.
And they've had so much success on all of their Kickstarter campaigns, right?
And whenever something goes up on their web store, it becomes its own culture.
Yeah.
Of how it works. And I mean, they are mainlining FOMO.
Yeah.
Hardcore. I think there's a differentiation between what they do and what Games Workshop is doing with their products here is they're not marketed as limited edition. When the 3 new models release on the Friday before Easter for Kingdom Death, it's known. It says we have this number in stock. It says 200 available. And it goes down as they're sold. It says like less than 50 available, less than 10 available. Like, that's what you're getting. They don't ever publicly announce that, at least on the front end, for Games Workshop stuff. It's simply you have to get it in a pre-order. You have to line up to get it, or who knows if you'll get it or when you'll get it. Now, a month from now, they do another run of Dominion with another 100,000 boxes of it, and you wouldn't have missed out, but you just simply don't know. That's the FOMO, I don't have enough information to know. So if I even maybe kind of want it, I have to pull the trigger before I'm even committed to the models or the game or whatever. I have to act, and that clouds your judgment of what you really want, what you really need, what army you really want to start, what you're actually going to paint, all that stuff. It's totally clouded by the uncertainty, which is different from Kingdom Death. They're not uncertain. They're plain as day. It's in front for you. This is what it is. Get it now or never get it.
Do you think that's intentional?
Do you think it's intentional the way Games Workshop does it?
Like they don't list like a count of how much is left?
Absolutely. It's absolutely on purpose.
Okay.
They sell more because of people that wouldn't otherwise get it. Because if you look at the numbers for a new product, like 80% of the numbers for sales in a year of a product are within the first 2 weeks of it releasing for Games Workshop. So if we don't get you right away, you get time to think about it. Oh, I see something else is coming out instead. Maybe I'll get that instead. Or, oh, the newness wears off. The hype wears off. And then I just don't end up purchasing it. So they're manufacturing FOMO with the weapon they're using is uncertainty and confusion as to what if could I ever maybe get some words John speaks today.
Wow. That was so ass backwards that I forgot what we're talking about. What's the topic for today?
I just had a stroke. We're talking about FOMO. I'm going to double check in here. Okay.
Yeah, so are there positive things about FOMO? I was thinking about this, and I feel like FOMO at its core is a negative thing, but if you wanted to spin it in a positive way, I mean, at least FOMO is going to make you more apt to be aware of what's going on instead of just existing in your small little hobby world.
Yeah.
I think with the advent of the internet, it's been out for a couple of years, the internet.
Maybe you've heard about it.
One of the beautiful things is we're able to learn and educate ourselves from so many different people and walks of life and approaches and stuff like that. And so FOMO maybe is like a little bit of a push, to be like, be involved in the greater hobby community, be aware of what's going on. And that can be helpful. And so the motivations that come from FOMO, but I feel like inherently it's a negative thing.
Yeah, I think that there's some that's a really good positive side of it that I haven't necessarily thought about that until this very moment. But where I gather information about the miniature hobby has spread, and it's grown for me over the last, especially like year and a half, because where I find that's a place is getting me good information, like the Kingdom Night or Kingdom Death Night Market is a group on Facebook that if there's any new news, there's any new updates, there's a sale that's going to be going on, there's a sale that's live now, just open, blah, blah, blah. Like I've now tapped in and I've joined a group, or follow somebody on Twitter, or, I follow Spira Mirables on Instagram. So I get to see which new, model he's going to have come out and what's the 48-hour period that it's going to be on sale for.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. There's an example. I think Spira is a great example of the potential positivity of FOMO, is getting people aware of an amazing artist whose sculpting level is like off the charts. And the FOMO has allowed whispers and spreading of information and all this stuff to give him more exposure, to send people to him when he has a new product out there. Because really, you've got to pre-order in 48 hours or you're never going to get that thing. And that's a good thing. So how do you broaden and create a more diverse streamline of news and information for yourself and tailor it to what interests you the most in your hobby?
I do feel guilty letting Spira Mirabilis get away with that positivity and not a company like Games Workshop, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's
easier to say that because it's a single person, and GW is a massive billion-dollar company. But there's still people there that are artists that are good, making cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I do feel a little guilty about that, and I do the same thing that you just did right then. I'll like attribute a positive thing to a small person and not give that same positive thing to a larger company.
But I don't think they're doing the same thing. I think if Games Workshop had a well-known, and then right on his website, it's got the countdown of the 48 hours you have to order. If that's how the way Dominion worked, I wouldn't be mad at it. I would scratch my head as to that business model, but at least I'd understand all the information where I stood.
Sure, yeah.
Because it changes for different products. It's just not entirely certain. You don't find out until after the fact. City's a great example of that.
Well, that's an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, you told me one thing, and now 2 weeks later, after it's all gone, you're telling me another thing. So yeah, I think it's just transparency.
Sure. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And so from a positive side, FOMO can be a good thing from a manufacturer that's using it for them to create awesome stuff for us in the miniature hobby.
Sure.
That doesn't mean we have to adhere to it and buy everything, but if it helps them grow and keep in business and keep making those sweet sweet sculpts.
That's an important thing to think about as humans, is that just because something is negatively impacting myself doesn't mean that it isn't positively impacting someone else.
Yeah.
And that I can't, air quotes, suffer on behalf of someone else, someone else's gain, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if this helps a company make the money they need to stay in business, but it's inconvenient for me, that's okay.
I like that. Way to stay positive.
Thank you. I'm a very positive person. Don't you know that? Let's talk about why I suck at YouTube videos. Did you find anything extra in the...
We covered it because I was going to do Kingdom Death separate, but I think we integrated that well, that contrast of those two different forms. In the comments below, is there another form of FOMO that we missed? Or is there a level of FOMO that you think is positive that we didn't talk about? Or there's a level of FOMO that makes you hot and sweaty in the pants and you hate it? I don't know if being hot and sweaty in the pants is a negative thing.
I don't like it. It's smelly.
Right. It's like a swamp.
Yeah, no one likes swamps.
If anything regarding FOMO gives you swamp ass, put it in the comments below. Let us know. We were going to read those, and we're going to find some good FOMO stories out there. Do you have a good FOMO story of like where you just like totally regretted your purchase and you're like, this was because of FOMO? Or,
dude, yeah, me.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. Well, that's a great thing to talk about. Yeah. Not that this podcast needs to be any longer, but the vampire shit, bro.
Oh, Soul Blight.
I bought all that Soul Blight stuff, and I don't have no plans for when I'm going to paint it.
Oh, God. Dude, the army's good now in 3.0. Like, Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon is going to wreck houses and families and orphans all over the lands now.
Yeah, but I bought that, and I kind of regret it. Specifically, like the Dragon Centaur lady. I was like, I don't know if I want this, but I'm just going to buy it so I have all the new stuff. Are you farting right now? I see the fart lean.
Yeah. A little bit. A little tootsie toots.
Okay. How about you?
I bought a lot of vampire stuff, and
What'd you buy? I'll tell you what I bought, and you tell me what you bought.
Okay, go.
I bought the vampire lady, the centaur dragon lady. I bought a zombie box. I bought a Blood Knight box. I bought the bat lady hair because I actually owe you one because we made a bet about Arno Lazarow including white in a model. And you were right. There was no white in that model. And we bet that model.
We bet that hair. Good thing you said that because I do not remember that conversation at all.
I've been aware of me being wrong for like at least 4 weeks, and I haven't brought it up. So I think that's it. I might have bought 2 boxes of Blood Knights.
Yes, that's a good call.
Yeah, I think I have 2.
Poppers.
Wife is in Tennessee right now, so we have the dogs that are barking at us because they're bored because they're not being let outside like my wife would do for us while we're recording the podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, how about you?
I bought 6 boxes of zombies. I bought a box of skeletons. I bought 2 boxes of direwolves.
I have direwolves too. Yeah.
They're great models. I bought a box of fell bats, and I might need to buy more of those because I got a plan with fell bats.
You might need to, yeah.
I actually, prior to it coming out, double whammy for usage. I bought a Flesh Eater Courts Start Collecting box. So I got another Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon and a unit of Crypt Flayers. I bought Vargeist. I bought Weird Dragon Centaur Lady. I bought Bat Hair Lady. I bought Radikar the Beast. I bought Belladonna Volga. I bought the book, the War Scroll cards, and I might be missing something else. Yeah, I bought a lot, but I'm happy with myself.
Okay.
Because then I was like, oh, man, I'm so excited about the new orcs and their freaking stupid stumpy legs. I'm like, glad I didn't wait.
Okay. So that would have given you buyer's remorse.
Yeah, because the army and its core is still very, very cool. The Soulblight Gravelars. It didn't quite do what I wanted it to do, but it's still pretty awesome. And the zombies are amazing, so I'm gonna be happy. This is gonna be my army. It's gonna be my army, or I'm gonna take over the world and win every tournament ever.
Be the greatest SBG player ever.
Yeah.
SBGL.
Yes.
All right, that's going to do it for FOMO.
And FOMO is over, Mo.
All right.
We are to the newsy news.
Oh,
Which you don't really
shit.
have. Yeah, so you told me we always do news.
Fucked it up.
This is the second time in 3 episodes you fucked it up, and I'm going to blame you because I didn't think of it either.
Fuck.
Newsy news. We don't have a lot of newsy news.
The way this gets edited, though, no one will know.
What's funnier now, because they do know.
Okay.
You're going to see behind the curtain that the Wiz is just us. We're just the Wiz.
Just the cheese whiz.
Actually, Amber's the true Wiz. We're just the two dinguses.
She tapes it all together.
We're going to talk about Dominion. We already talked about Dominion.
We did.
You got a box. You opened the box. Did you have any other like reaction after you like open it and like kind of look through the sprues and look through all the stuff in there? Did you have any?
I wasn't super passionate about any of the models in there.
Sure.
I mean, it's the exact same as Indominus. It's got a fuckload of plastic in there, a cool book, some rules and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't really. There's a model that I plan to paint. I got a video idea figured out, but like otherwise, I'm just gonna sell the box.
It's just gonna be gone.
I already sold it. The person already gave me the money for it.
God damn it, Scott!
You said you were gonna buy one.
No, I'm not gonna buy one.
Oh,
Fuck Garm's work.
2 days ago, you were like, "Oh, it's available on this day. I'll just buy it."
FOMO. FOMO's us talking through FOMO today led me to believe.
Do you want a model out of there?
I would maybe want a model for painting for a video, but that's fine too. Doesn't matter.
Do you want? I'll just take one and I'll just reduce whatever I sold it for. It's my friend, it's Scott Hyman. He's the one I sold the Blood Angels to. Sold to.
Right.
Commission.
Commission from.
Yeah,
All right.
fuck that
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Not now. We're live.
We're live. Okay, yeah. Not very passionate about the designs in there. Not that they're bad designs, but they're just not for me.
Just not for me. Yeah, I'm the same way. I really wanted the orcs to be cool, but their legs,
They're just not cool. They're just fucking shit.
Their legs are stupid, stumpy, small. Their proportions are dumb. Hey, I'm not trying to yuck on anybody's yum. If you think
I will. They suck and you shouldn't like them.
I wish I liked them. I like them like 50%. I just wish that I liked them 70 or 80%.
So you could buy more models that you don't need?
Yeah, that's the truth. And it's Stormcast or Stormcast. So let's just slightly change the body style. I do like the new, slimmer, more realistic Stormcast look, other than those big old giant beefy dorks with shields. They're pretty nasty looking and cool looking, but
I like the Spellcaster wizard lady.
yeah, she's pretty cool, and she's got the cool helmet.
She's got a helmet?
Yeah, she's got like a Star Wars helmet.
I thought she was a naked head.
She's got a Star Wars helmet. I think it's alternate options.
Okay.
Next thing on the newsy news, the next and final thing is the MPO, the Miniature Painting Open, has concluded, which was a large online, probably the largest online miniature painting competition that, at least that I know of, it may not be, since the beginning of COVID. And the results have been put out. We're going to link a link to the video where they go over. It's an open competition, meaning that if there are 8 pieces that all deserve a bronze, all 8 will get a bronze.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. I believe there was multiple golds in a couple of categories, but a lot of them only had 1 gold. There was also a standard category and then a master's category. So a standard was if you've never placed in a painting competition before, or you've never done one, or whatever.
Me.
You can enter that one. And then masters were for, the really good people, or people that have placed before or that they haven't placed before. Like, that's what you would do. Your ego would get in the way. You'd be like, I'm not going standard. I'm going masters. I want to go with the
I
big
would
dogs.
message Andy and be like, what should I do?
And they talked about that in the video, that they did have discussions, and they did with the artists, and said, we actually think, we said there wasn't a lot about, where they should be,
Yeah.
Because sometimes it could be a mistake too. They just want to make sure.
Yeah, and it's not like if someone went into a category, they couldn't just get moved around.
Right. But yeah, it was really cool to see like all the winners and stuff. They didn't, if I don't recall, I don't know. They didn't have a best in show. It was all based on category, but it's just cool. There's a lot of entries.
A lot of entries, dude.
Buttload of entries, which is great.
Saw a couple Duchess entries.
Yeah. One of them placed, I think.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't watch the video yet on what placed and stuff like that.
We saw some amazing painters that had put stuff in there. Eric Swinson, our good our good buddy. He doesn't know our good buddy, but he is our good buddy, Dave Colwell.
All of these painters are our good buddies.
Yeah.
Like we never talked to them.
They don't know that they're our good buddies, but there's a bunch good buddy. Shoot, what am I blanking on his name now?
Ben Thomas.
No, he didn't. I didn't see anything from Ben in there.
You're good.
The streamer, Miniatures Den. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Vincenzo. I didn't mean to forget your name.
Yeah.
I knew Vincenzo. I should have just said that and then thought of Miniatures Den, but he entered some stuff. He's an amazing painter and streamer on Twitch. So it's just really cool. So check out that video. It's just interesting to have like a competition. Again, got my juices flowing and I'm ready for Golden Demon. So I'm glad that they put that on, and they are already talked about plans for improving and doing it annually. So
I love it when your juices are flowing.
All right, that's it for the nosy nose. Now is the part of the episode where we end the episode.
And we shill a lot.
A lot.
If you like the podcast and you want to support it, there are many ways that you can do that. One way, really the only way. No, I'm just kidding. A Patreon campaign. You know, those things where you give money to people. Yeah. All right. Bye. No, yeah, we have a $5 tier. Which gets you access to an extended episode where you can hear us talk about things like new techniques we've tried and our experimentations and how they've gone, whether good or bad. We talk about other models painted by people that we like and why we like them that we've discovered in the last 2 weeks. We talk about feedback. We don't talk about it. We give it to one of our patrons, an episode. So as a $5 patron, you get the opportunity to give us your models to get feedback live during an episode. And lastly, you also get to give us topics for us to discuss during episode, like today's episode.
Yeah.
About FOMO.
From Abel,
not Kane.
Yes. Also, we do have a $1 tier as well. If you're like, no, I don't give you guys $5, but I do appreciate, I do listen, I do want you guys to keep doing it. You could just give us a buckaroonie, and then we can get us some tendies.
Mm-hmm. We also have lots of merch available with our logo and also other designs. Everything linked in the description or show notes below.
Yeah. You can also thumbs up, tell your nerd friends about us, get the hobby train moving from the station, and then they will listen, and then they will say, "I question our friendship."
Yeah,
because you recommended this
trash
of a train wreck to me.
Trash of a train wreck.
Oh
my God.
Yeah. I'm waiting to find out what's things in this episode Ben Cantor disagreed with. It's the first episode since he said there are things that he didn't like, and we said you have to mention them to us.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't like, but he disagreed with our hot takes. Our hot takes are the hottest of takes,
yes.
Benjamin.
Yes. Fully unresearched, total conjecture hot take.
That's what we do when we do. And so that is going to be it for this fortnight. We thank you for joining us and giving just a little bit of your time, even less if you listen to us on 2.0 speed. But until next time, we'll catch you on
the Flippity Flop.